Hi everyone, this is Big Mama. I wanted to get on here and do my video for the Dear Julie Julie mini challenge in the challenge 5.126, and it is a pocket or purse journal from a 6x6 pad. And Julie has asked that we would use 4 different pages and of that pad and cut it down to where the pages were going to be 4 inches by 3 inches, and we could fasten it however we wanted. And so what I did was I fastened it with this sari silk. This is her digital, and the digital that I used in here was from the Patreon, and she had 2 pages that had postcards and had these stamps, and so the postcards were in all different sizes, and so that is throughout here. And I grunged it up with some ink, and I used the distress ink that was the ground espresso, and use this is a little pocket that I have on the front of it so that you could put a gift card in it or a little note that maybe your credit cards. I don't know what you want to gift. And so I glued it down solid here on the back, and then on the front this has got a pocket here where you can put something in. And so it is just secured here with the sari silk. And she said that we needed to take and fold up pages, and so on this page here I folded it up, and then we did a little cut in it to help with the bulk on the spine. And what I did for each of these, like the back of this page, I added tea bag. I had just had a crafters gathering here at the house, and we drank a lot of tea, and I saved the tea bags, and so I decided to use the tea bags. And so that is this fringe that you're seeing along here is the tea bags, and I put it on the edge here and glued it down. And then this is the digital, and I use washi tape here for my stamp, and then just use these cards that are index cards that had been coffee dyed, and those are from her digital. All of these will be from her digital. And so she wanted for us on this page to do a belly band that had a pocket. And so I added washi tape here, and then added washi tape to the belly band, and then also added the washi tape to the little pocket that I used. And these were the scraps that were left over from the 6x6 pad page. And so with the 4 inches, you flip it up, and you've got to have material, not material, but paper that you can use then. And then I just simply took the embossing powder that was a copper and sprinkled it down in my glue while it was still wet, and hit it with the heat gun and got that to where it was all nice and shiny copper. And so that's how I did these. And again, had the index card there so that you could journal on. And then this, whoop, can't go in there. And this is the second page that I used. And then here we were to do a little edge tuck. And so I added the washi on it and hit it with the heat gun, and also underneath it is this tea bag, and I tore it there, and then I added the washi here with a little bit of that on it. And then the stamp here has the card underneath it. And then there were itty bitty ones on this digital, and so I used those. She said that we should use a writer, a block of 3 pages folded that would be for the writing, and so I added these in there to add interest to that for your journaling paper. And then this one, I added a little pocket up at the top. And this, what I did, instead of cutting them apart on the digital, I went ahead and left them together and folded them up, and that way you can write in the inside here, and you've got those postcards there like that. And this again is the tea bag that I backed this with. And the tea bag on the edge here for the back side of that. And I took my glue stick and just kind of rubbed it along the stain where the tea had dried on here, and sprinkled a little bit of that copper on here, and then hit it with the heat gun to bring that copper out. And these here are scraps from the pads, and so here's one, another one, another one, and so they have the tea bag on the back side of them to strengthen them because it's just a thin paper. And so put the tea bag there and inked it and made it nice and grungy and glued it down. So you have those. Again, the cards are on the back using the index card. And this one opens up so you can write in the inside. And some more of that. And then here is taking the scrap and making a belly band. This is a bigger one of those cards. And this is the center, and she said to cut that in like that. And this one, I took the stamp and just used a scrap of paper and did it to where it opens up to where you can write things in. And I also, when I put the two pages together, made a little pocket and have one of the postcards in there. Use the little itty bitty postcard then for a tab. And then for this one, I used a file folder index and put that there. And this was on the edge of some paper, and so I just added the little glue there and sprinkled in that copper embossing. And then have the paper pad here, which just scraps of paper you can write in. And then on the end of my ties, I used waxed thread. And in my ties, I then took the metallic pin and went around the edge of the butterflies and put that on there. And then I just used the postcard there. Some more of the paper block and card. And put some more of the copper on there. I'm getting really quiet, aren't I? Sorry. And then here's the tea bag that I put behind that, and card to write on. And then the very last of the pages have that. And so those are the pages. And then on the outside of it, I have this wax that you use when you're sewing and you want to wax the thread when you're quilting. Use that on the cover and rub it on there and hit it with the heat gun. And I don't know if you can see some of that copper in there, but I just sprinkled some of the copper in and hit it with the heat gun, and so it just gives that little copper flaking inside here. So there you go. That is my mini challenge in the challenge, as we all like to call this our Mitch. And thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.